What's up, Whisper Nation? It is Monday, May 10th, and we're back at it. We're doing another mock draft, of course, Mock Draft Mania. We're going to keep it going right here on the Fantasy Whispers live Mock Draft Monday.
Right here.
What's going on, Whisper Nation? Johnny Game Time Hicks here with the Fantasy Whispers. If you're new to our channel, or if you're in our live stream, the live stream is popping off. Let us know, Whisper. We appreciate you. We got Eric Zuber in here. We got Scott, which is Death by Rona. We got Rob Shorter in here. Mock Draft Monday, boys. Let's go. Thankful for joining this Mock Draft Monday. Appreciate you, Eric, Scott, Death by Rona. Another draft. I will win. That Travi will deny me. Unfortunately, as you guys could tell, I haven't zoomed out or anything. Big Travi, my co-host, and Austin Sear are not here today. They are traveling back. If you joined me on Friday, they were at a wedding this weekend in New Orleans. Shout out to them. So they are on their way back traveling. So it's just me today doing this. So bear with me. I'm going to need your help today, Whisper Nation. I'm going to need you guys to be shouting out in the comments. Let me know. Ask questions. If you have questions, we'll be going over a lot of strategy today in this mock draft. And I need to talk for like an hour. So that's going to be a little bit difficult. I apologize to you, Whisper Nation, if you're following along here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope. Please give us a thumbs up. It's free, but it really helps our channel. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. I'm the Fantasy Whispers. I'm Johnny Game Time Hicks. We do mock drafts every single Monday at noon West Coast time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to join in, make sure you follow us on Twitter at TF Whispers. We drop the link about 40 minutes before we do the draft so we can load it up so you guys actually get a full draft room. And we got a full room today. I'm like super proud of Whisper Nation showing up, showing out. We will get this started here. I am drafting from the third spot. It is a 10-team Dynasty, half-point PPR, Superflex Dynasty startup. And so we're going to get this going here. We're going to start this draft. Whoops, I don't want to go into draft settings here. I want to go to begin draft here. Big shout out to everyone in the comments that Rob sure loved the new team name. Yeah, because we got Death by Rona saying he changed his name from Death by Rona to The Real Whisper. So we'll see. I mean, he's been drafting decently, but we'll see what he does here. This is a mock draft. So Pat Mahomes comes off number 1 overall. Can't knock it. It's a dynasty. CMC at the 102. I'll be honest with you. I'm really surprised because my guy who I think will be, I'm going to take him number 1 here in Dynasty. But I also think he is now my new number 1. I think he's a tier of his own. Well, CMC, you could still take 101, I think, even in redraft leagues. But Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings went out. They drafted a really good offensive lineman. That was where they were lacking last year. And so he was there. I believe it was a right tackle. It was either right or left tackle. Excuse me, I need to vet that. But they drafted what should be their franchise guy, and he is a really good run blocker. And if you go back and watch a lot of the tape where he was trying to pull over, Dalvin Cook ended up getting either hit in the backfield and stopped, or he was not able to gain as many yards as he possibly could because of that offensive lineman. And so with them getting that upgrade, I definitely think they will get an upgrade for running. And I think that's what they want to do. So I think Dalvin Cook is going to be my number 1 overall running back this year, going for redraft leagues. And then I just happen to get him in Dynasty, which I love as well, because I still think there's plenty of tread on those tires. Normally, we'll talk a little strategy here. If I'm at this 103 position, and let's say Dalvin Cook was off the board, he came off the board number 2 or number 1, and then CMC was there, then I would suggest trading down. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I think, came off the board right after me, or right after my pick, and then Derrick Henry. And so I think that if someone were in that 3 spot, really wanted like a Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Taylor is probably the guy that I would have went with if Dalvin Cook and CMC were gone in this mock draft. But if you want to accumulate some picks and trade down, maybe someone really wants Jonathan Taylor, right? I would definitely advise, especially in a startup, to trade down, pick up future draft picks, pick up, picks in this draft if you need to. But if you can add value by just trading down a little bit, because there's still so much value. Obviously, we're still in the first round. So I would definitely do that. And I think that you would definitely see that pay off significantly in down the road. So starting off in a startup, you definitely want to try to trade back if you can, pick up some future assets because those become more and more valuable. And you're not necessarily significantly damaging your team by trading down a few spots, because as we saw, I mean, Saquon Barkley went to the 107 spot. I mean, that's a great pick. I think getting a guy like Saquon at the 107 in a startup. So I want to give a shout out to everyone in the draft room right now. We got the Cat's Pajamas. We got John Credit. I'm in the 10, or I'm at the 3 spot. Then we have Drew Lou, who I believe is new. If you're watching on some stream that we are on right now, let us know. Appreciate you joining the mock draft. Jacob Bley, he is in the 105 spot. Muddy Wolfles. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. I'm terrible with names. Joining us at the 106 spot, Jay Blizzy, who was our Whisper Nation champion last year. Great drafter. He is in the 107 spot. Easy Daddy in the 108. We appreciate. That's Eric. Appreciate him. And then we got Captain Bob, and which is Rob Shorter. And then who we got we got Scott in here, who changed his name to the Real Whisperer. So rundown of the full first round here for the Whisper, those who are just tuning in listening. We had Pat Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, got Saquon Barkley, Kyler Murray, Cam Akers, and then Alvin Kamara in the first round. And then to start the second round, we had A.J. Brown, Dak Prescott, Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson, Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, and then Lamar Jackson go right before me. I am on the clock now. I have 37 seconds to make this pick. There are some really good running backs on the board right now. But this is a super flex as well. So that's why the quarterbacks are going so high as well. So I don't know if I want to grab a wide receiver here. And I am going to go with DK Metcalf. I think that with them settling everything with Russell Wilson, I think that he's still one of the best wide receivers in a startup that you can grab. So I grabbed DK in the second. We'll see what is coming up here in the third. I do like the running backs here, and you can grab like Deandre Swift. I love, especially in a dynasty. I have him in a dynasty league, so I do love Deandre Swift. Joe Mixon, I think, has plenty of years. CEH, great pick. You're getting that double stack of Pat Mahomes, CEH. I think that's a good pick. But generally, I'm going to try to get some wide receivers here because the running back position is so volatile from year to year, and their career lengths are a lot shorter, and their productive career length is even shorter than that. And so I tend to try to kick that for a little bit down the road in the drafts. I will probably look at a quarterback here just to grab one to get one, since this is Dynasty. I at least want one really solid quarterback, and then we'll see where I go from there. Okay, Deshaun, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna take. This is gonna be a big gamble here, but I'm a big believer in Jalen Hurts, so I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts here in the third. I really like what they're doing for getting him weapons. The organization this is a risky pick. I'm not going to deny. Like, if you're watching along, like that is a really risky pick. But I do believe the upside for Jalen Hurts is definitely there. And so I'm gonna grab one core. He has like some of the highest upside to me of the quarterbacks left. So I'm gonna go ahead and I grab Jalen Hurts. So probably I'm going to go back into the second round because we didn't really talk about a lot of the second round yet. So let's see. Hold on. The Cat's Pajamas coming here. I have been really wanting to do a mock like this one. It's almost just like the first Dynasty League I'm doing this year. Well, congratulations on getting into a Dynasty League, the Cat's Pajamas. You are going to have so much fun. I really enjoy. I have never regretted starting up a Dynasty League. We started one up a couple of years ago. We really wanted to get into it. And so we started, and I love every aspect of it, from the trading to the off season to the rookie drafts. Everything about Dynasty I love because it's year round. And I think that it requires another skill level that you don't tend to see from redraft leagues. You get to be, if you're right on your guy, like it's fun in redraft leagues to have your guy and he pops off for the year or whatever, and he could win you a championship or whatnot. But when he's on your dynasty team and you're vouching for him and you get him and he goes off and now he's yours or he's on your roster for the foreseeable future, that is the coolest feeling ever. So I'm a big fan of Dynasty. I love the strategy. I love the play of games, year round. And so I started doing other fantasy leagues because I wanted that same kind of competitiveness, right, that you got in the or during fantasy football. But I enjoy fantasy basketball. I do play it. And then, I started a fantasy baseball league with some guy, or I didn't start, I joined it. And I just didn't enjoy it as much. So fantasy football is the number one fantasy sport to me. That's why we do a podcast on it. But I really love fantasy football. So congrats again, the Cat's Pajamas, on joining your first dynasty. This is good practice for you. So far, you've got Pat Mahomes, CEH, and then Trevor Lawrence to start your draft. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence ends up being the Andrew Luck of football, which a lot of people are comparing him to, like an Andrew Luck type or a Peyton Manning, like these guys that are going to be in the league for a long time and they're going to be one of the best quarterbacks, then you're pretty set right now. It will be interesting to see how the rest of your draft goes and how you kind of fill it out. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of value at certain points for certain positions. And if you can get the right guys and fill this out, we'll see how it goes. But it's a good strategy to try to pan out, and get good practice on it. So I wish you the best of luck. Hang with us. We'll get you some tips, tricks, things that you could do. But I definitely would encourage you to at least try to trade a couple of picks in your rookie draft or in your very first draft. Try to trade down, get some added value, even if it's in future, picking up third rounders, second rounders in the future. Those assets will come back and pay you much more heavily than getting a guy right now, unless it's like really your guy. I'm up right now in the fourth round. That third and fourth round went pretty quickly. I'll recap in just a second. Let me figure out who I want to get here. Joe Mixon's still here. That's a pretty good running back. I think I might wait a little bit longer on running back. I'm gonna got some nice picks here. DeAndre Hopkins still on the board. He's a little bit near his age apex. So you know what? I might just go. I'm going to go Michael Thomas. Well, let me just check to see what tight ends are available. Travis Kelce, still Darren Waller. That's a good tight end to get. I'm going to try it. Why not? Let's get Darren Waller. I love Darren Waller. That's a risky. This is a risky draft for me. I don't I don't know if I don't know if I'm liking how I'm doing this. DeAndre Hopkins might have been the right pick there, or another receiver. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes back around. But Darren Waller, I mean, one of the best tight ends. He's younger, still about to enter the prime of his career. I think he could be the number one overall tight end this year, depending on the other situations and who is actually at the quarterback position. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers somehow gets traded to the Raiders, which there were some rumors that, that could be happening. John Gruden went a little silent. Then Darren Waller could definitely be the number one tight end next year for sure. And I would be loving that then for this mock draft. But let's see. We had Travis Kelce come off right before me. Yeah, Aaron Jones, Michael Thomas, pretty good. Cat's pajamas. I like what you're forming here, man. I'm digging it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna get a wide receiver here. Let me glance at the quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm gonna wait on that. So Chris Godwin's pretty good, and he's young. I do like DJ Moore, but he's gonna be moving more to the slot. Mike Evans still hot. I mean, he's a beast wide receiver. I'm gonna keep chasing. I'm gonna go Chris Godwin. I'm gonna go Chris Godwin here. He's young. I mean, I do like Mike Evans, but he's getting a little bit older. I think he's 20. I need to look this up. How old is Mike Evans here? I think it might be 28. He's still pretty young, but he's a beast. So Mike Evans is, where is his age here? 27.7 years old. So he's still pretty young. But I think Chris Godwin will definitely have a bounce back season this year. Once again, he's got Tom Brady for this year. We'll see what they do at the quarterback position after that. But he's my wide receiver 2 currently. So I did consider Jamar Chase there. Don't get me wrong. That would have been a really good pick, especially for the future. And I do like the fact that he's going with Joe Burrow. If I would have had Joe Burrow, I think I would have definitely wanted that double dip. But I mean, they're both in the same tier for me. All right, let's see if we have any. If you could do me a solid favor, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're watching this live stream right now with us, appreciate you tuning in. If you could give me a awesome thumbs up or a heart wherever you're at, let me know also how your Monday's going. We appreciate every single one of you guys joining us for this mock draft Monday during mock draft mania, as we like to say. We mock draft every single Monday here on the Fantasy Whisperer channel, and then we release content. We do a live show every Wednesday and Friday, and then we release content on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or short clips, video clips. So we love to help you out. We love helping out Whisper Nation, making our community even better. And we love mock drafting most of all. Like, that's our favorite thing to do. I think it's most people's favorite thing to do. I also want to give a shout out real quick to Sleeper. They have been doing mad updates. Let us know what do you think in the comments. Let us know what you think of the Sleeper updates. I personally really like it. I think they are nice and colorful. We got Jacob Bley here. My first 2 picks were auto drafted. Could have done a lot worse. Let's see what you got. Saquon and Justin. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty good. Oh wait, no, sorry. I was looking at Jacob or Jay Blizzy. Let's see, Jacob Bley. You had Derrick Henry and Devontae Adams. Yeah, pretty good. I know. So I talked about this a little bit on Friday's show, or in my rant about Aaron Rodgers and stuff. Devontae Adams you're seeing him fall a little bit in this draft, and rightfully so, right? We don't know who's going to be the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers next year. And if Aaron Rodgers is there, then that could be an absolute steal. If he ends up being traded, right, then yes, his immediate value would downgrade, obviously. But we do know Davante Adams is an elite wide receiver. And so he only has one more year left on his contract. And so if you can bear out that year, and this is a dynasty league again, so I think that's a good pick because in a year, obviously he's not going to stay there if he doesn't have a quarterback. And in general, Green Bay isn't known for paying up for their players. So with those two things in mind, I think Davante Adams, especially in a startup, and you got him as the third overall wide receiver off the board, I think that's great value. I did want to talk about we had Scott take A.J. Brown as the number one overall wide receiver. I do think that A.J. Brown has the potential, not only this year, for the next coming years, to be the number one wide receiver for fantasy football. I think especially this year, he's my guy to be the number one overall wide receiver because they did absolutely very little to address that wide receiver or just the weapons for Tennessee in the draft. And so I believe that you will see A.J. Brown get absolutely peppered with targets. Like, I would be absolutely shocked, barring injury, of course, but I would be absolutely shocked if we don't see him get at least like 160 targets. And that's with the added game, remind you. So he is on, and we've seen him explode. Like, I'm not worried about, them double covering him or anything. Like, he's a big bodied wide receiver. He can blow past you. I absolutely think he's going to kill it. So I think that was actually a good pick there for you to go with him. Some people might say, take Justin Jefferson or DK Metcalf, or Davante Adams, but I think that's as good a pick as any. All right, I'm back on the board. Mike Evans is still there, so I could double up. Oh, and I only got 11 seconds to make this pick. Well, I don't like doing that. I'm going to take the value. Even though they're both for Tampa Bay. I mean, Tom Brady just threw 40 touchdowns. So now could Father Time hit him this year? Yeah. But I'm done doubting Tom Brady. Like, I'm just done doubting him. And again, having two wide receivers on the same team in a startup, I probably would have traded back in that position, in all honesty. But having a guy like Mike Evans' talent, you will be able to trade. So you also need to remember that when you're drafting, you're not only drafting, especially in a dynasty league, you're not only drafting for this league, but like, you could potentially trade these guys for future picks if you're like, oh, I'm not satisfied with my team. And that's fine. Like, you can trade in a dynasty league and make your roster how you want it. You just got to make the moves. And so, and be willing to, sacrifice future picks or whatnot in order to make the roster that you choose to make if you don't hit it on the draft. And so, I mean, I did that. That's my first draft, dynasty draft, was not good. And what did I end up doing? Like, I traded away a lot of my players. I got better players, and I did things that way in order to improve my roster. And then I got to the semifinals, the semifinals last year. So you can quickly turn things around in 1 year if you don't nail your draft. It's okay. We can help you out. I might need my own advice this year. We'll see. All right, I'm looking at the quarterbacks here. It's starting to get really, really thin. Might go. Ooh, Chris Carson is still here. That's an interesting pick. That's a much shorter. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab another receiver here. I'm going to go with DJ Chark. So he's my fourth wide receiver. And He only has one more year left on his contract. There are rumors that Jacksonville isn't going to renew his contract. We'll see how that goes. They didn't do that with Allen Robinson, right? They did tag him for a year and then they let him go. But I do like the talent of DJ Chark. I do like him this year, obviously, with Trevor Lawrence. And so we'll see what kind of value he'll have, but he'll definitely have weeks. Like, I mean, we've seen him be a wide receiver 1 before. So the upside is definitely there to get him in the 7th round of startup as my 4th wide receiver. I like it. I'm a fan. I want to give a rundown. I had ended off in the 2nd round before, so I'm going to catch up the listeners if you're listening on our podcast. In the 3rd round, we had Trevor Lawrence to start off, then Russell Wilson. Then I took Jalen Hurts, so a mini quarterback run there. Deandre Swift at the 304, George Kittle at the 305, Joe Burrow, Tyreek Hill, Ezekiel Elliott, Stephon Diggs at the 309. That's a good value. Aaron Rodgers, at the 310. Zach Wilson at 401 to start the 4th round. Then CeeDee Lamb, then Trey Lance, Antonio Gibson, Calvin Ridley, J.K. Dobbins, and then we had Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller, DeAndre Hopkins, Aaron Jones to round out the 4th round. To start the 5th round, we had Michael Thomas, Travis Kelce, Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, Allen Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Keenan Allen, Justin Fields, David Montgomery to close out the 5th round. I like that closeout. Kenny G to start the 6th, Austin Eckler, Travis Etienne, then Ryan Tannehill, Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, Josh Jacobs, then Tua Tagovailoa to close out the 6th. I like that pick a lot. I was looking and eyeing Tua with that 6th pick. Thought he would last just a little bit longer, but that was a good snag. Then we have Javonte Williams at the start of the 7th, and Myles Gaskins, DJ Chark, Baker Mayfield, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, T. Higgins, Julio Jones, all the way in the 7th. That's a steal. I know he's getting up there in age, but I think he still has a couple more years at least of a wide receiver too. So that's good value there. Michael Carter, really digging Michael Carter going to the Jets. He's like probably one of my favorite rookies right now. So definitely like his value right there. I'm going to have to start getting creative. You guys are starting to get these guys that I thought would go a little bit later, to be honest with you. So Noah Fant to close out the 7th. Now, Noah Fant, I'll tell you, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Broncos, you're going to absolutely see Noah Fant's stock skyrocket. It doesn't take an absolute genius to say that. I understand. But right now, Noah Fant is a guy that I already like as a breakout tight end. Like we sort of saw it last year, and then he got injured, and that hindered him the rest of the season. I think with a full season, even if it's Drew Lock as the quarterback, I think that he'll be a good fantasy tight end for you this year that you'll be able to get later on in drafts. But if Aaron Rodgers goes there, you're going to massively see his value go up, and he'll probably go where like TJ Hawkinson is going in redraft leagues and not Darren Waller, but Mark Andrews. And that's probably right around where I would have him. I'd probably place him above those guys. I think Kyle Pitts would finally fall down. I think that would cause his stock to finally go down a little bit more. Again, Kyle Pitts going in the 5th round of a Dynasty league is a little bit different. I don't mind that as much. It's a much more long-term play. And so if you're in a redraft league, I don't mind grabbing Kyle, or a Dynasty league, I don't mind grabbing Kyle Pitts as much. But in a redraft league, I'm going to stay away from him. All right, and then we just had Mark Andrews go off. My pick is coming up here. I'm going to start to get ahead here because every time I've had like 10 seconds to get to get my thoughts gathered and look to see who's going around my pick. And so I'm going to do a little due diligence here so I don't end up with although I haven't been doing too bad talking. operating the draft board. I don't know. What do you think, Whisper Nation? Give me a thumbs up if you think I'm doing a pretty good job. Got to run this whole operation without my boys. It's a little bit different these days. Oh man, I was hoping Trey Sermon was going to fall to me. I was hoping Trey Sermon was. I was going to snatch him up. I really like that landing spot. Really like that landing spot. And that would have been a good. Although Elijah Mitchell, a lot of people are liking him. But I do need to start looking at scooping up a couple running backs here. Because they are getting super thin. James Robinson. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Kareem Hunt because his upside is definitely limited with Nick Chubb. Love Nick Chubb, but Kareem Hunt doesn't have a ton of time left on his contract. And if another team does end up going, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Cash Pajamas. Give me guys and Jacob Blake. Give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you. I'll tell you what. Whisper Nation, you guys are on your game today. You guys, some of you guys are like absolutely killing it in this draft. Like the Cash Pajamas, getting Deontay Johnson in the 8th. Love that. I'm kind of chasing some stuff. I think I do like. I'm just going to go down because the general consensus is don't take a quarterback early, which, listen, you can play fantasy football any way you want to play it. If you want to play where you take your quarterback early, I need to make sure I'm not up here. If you want to play where you take your quarterback early, you can win that way. You definitely can. Don't let people tell you can't. It's just a little bit different or more difficult to play that way because you need to start getting and landing values other places or trading for those values. Sorry, I'm up on the clock here. I'm looking at the wide receiver. Ooh. There's some good stuff here. There's a couple plays that I like. Let's see. I got quarterbacks. There are not a lot left. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab Matthew Stafford as my second quarterback. I really like him this year. I'm letting a lot of value pass. There it goes. TJ Hawkinson. I was not going to say anything because I was going to see if he was going to come around to me in this next round. TJ Hawkinson is the guy that I should have probably won. That's the guy that I would have. Instead of going Darren Waller, which I do like that pick, but I probably like hindsight 2020, you know. But I probably would have went like Michael Thomas there instead, and then my wide receivers would have been absolutely stacked. I wouldn't really have to worry about too many of them. And in the later rounds, I could have focused on other positions and grabbing TJ Hawkinson. I'm a huge fan of TJ Hawkinson this year, but he comes off after me. I grabbed Matthew Stafford again. I think that he will be a very solid, quarterback to put in my Superflex. I'm excited for what he could do this year, and he still has, plenty of years left that he will be a solid quarterback to put in my Superflex. And he actually makes the Jalen Hurts balance out a little bit because I think Matthew Stafford will be more of a solid quarterback. And I think that Jalen Hurts gives me that upside play at the quarterback position. So playing them together, I like doing that in general. I was saying before I made my pick that if you want to take a quarterback early, you can definitely do it. It's just a different strategy. So a lot of people don't like playing that way, and they'll tell you, it's so easy to stream a quarterback, and it tends to, it can, but like you can also stream any position. Are there some positions that are more difficult to stream than others? Absolutely. But every single week there are quarterbacks, there are running backs, there are tight ends, wide receivers, defenses, and kickers. Every single week there are positions that you could stream or get by with guys that just have good matchups and playing the matchups. And that's where we'll keep you updated on that. If you hang with us, if you subscribe to our channel, we'll give you those plays every single week, so you'll know, hey, this is a good matchup. The running backs usually go off against this team. I'll play this guy, and you can get by with that. Is it as comfortable as having elite running backs and stacked running backs and then streaming a quarterback? That's probably easier, sure, but like I said, you can win this game in so many ways. People think, oh, you have to win in the draft. No, that's not true. You can't. You could do some bad things in the draft, but you can always fix your draft, right? By hitting the waiver wire, doing that, hitting up trades. But you don't just win at the draft. You don't just win by picking up waivers. It's a combination of so many things. And yes, a lot of people say, is luck involved? And yeah, there is an added part of luck to fantasy football. There have been times when you play, you just happen, I've seen so many people who DM me, and I've been involved in it as well, where your team is just stacked, but you play against teams that just go off every week against you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's just how the game rolls sometimes. So what you have to do is you have to minimize those odds and say, how can I put my best team depending on my matchup together? And that's how you have to look at the game week by week, and you can make anything happen. I mean, I've won with some pretty terrible teams, but I've also lost with some really good teams. So it's gone both ways. And that's just how fantasy football, that's why we love it, because you can never predict it. We had a major run at, major. 3 quarterbacks came off the board here. I'm going to look at C. We have, I really wish Bateman did not go to Baltimore. Let's see. I need to grab another running back here. Ooh. Do I go with Uncle Lenny? He's still... I'm going to go... I don't love it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Uncle Lenny. I need another running back. That's a short-term solution. But I kind of put myself in that position. Put myself there. So that's what we get. Also, we did not do any kickers or defense in this mock. And as well as we're only doing 13 rounds. Well, I thought I changed that to 15 rounds, but we're only doing 13 rounds. In general, these mock drafts go way longer, especially if they're a dynasty team. You'll probably have, between 20 and 25 rounds that you would draft. But for the sake of time, and so you guys don't, never come back to our channel again, I don't want to have to put you guys through me talking for an hour and a half as we go through deep dives. So I'll spare you that. Oh, let's see. Oh my goodness. Cat's Pajamas. You're just stealing so many of my picks here, man. I mean, kudos to you. Good job. I was really wanting Rondale Moore. I almost took him at that 10 spot, but then I really needed a running back. That's bad. And now I'm going to even put myself even worse position here because, it's not a worse position. It's just not as, it's not as sexy. Do I like? I don't like. I'm going to go Damian Harris here. I was thinking Zack Moss. I'm just not a fan of Zack Moss. So it's hard for me to get Zack Moss on my teams. Especially if it's a dynasty league where I have to root for him for years. That's the other thing. That's another tip or trick I'll tell you. Try saying that 10 times fast. But get guys that you enjoy watching, because if you stuck around Whisper Nation, if you've been here for a while, you will hear this so many times. So I do apologize to you guys, but it can't be stated enough. Like, get guys that you enjoy watching. And I just also realized that I'm like loaded up on Tampa Bay players. This is bad. This has been a horrible draft for me. I'm going to give myself an F right now, but it's okay. It's a dynasty league. I could trade in theory. But we always repeat this and we always say it all the time, where get guys that you like to watch play, because if you don't do that, you're going to be beyond frustrated. If you get guys that you're, just going after because X, Y, or Z analyst tells you, hey, this guy's going to be good this year, and you draft him hoping that comes true, and then it doesn't, you're just going to have a difficult time. You're not going to enjoy playing fantasy football, which is like the best part, obviously, is playing the game. And if you don't like those players, don't enjoy watching them, then there's no use on having those guys on your team. Now, are there occasions when those guys do end up going off and, being a really good fantasy player? Of course. Happens all the time. I wasn't the biggest fan of James Robinson last year, but he was a top 12 fantasy running back, and then I got on board and then he burnt me. He broke my heart I should say the Jacksonville Jaguars broke my heart by getting Travis Etienne, but it happens, and so nothing's worse, because people also can sense the desperation when you're trying to like trade a player, especially if he's not like a name that a lot of people are into. Then it gets really hard to trade that player as well. So that's the other type of strategy tip that I would give you. I don't know what number we're on now, maybe like 6 or 7, I hope. I don't know. But this tip would be that when you're picking a player, also it's fine to go for a little bit of name value, right? If you're like torn between two players, go for the little bit of name value that people have, because that weighs so much on players' values. Even if they're not even that good of a player, but they have like a really good season, or like that's what people attach to that name, then pick that up, and then you can always flip that and trade it. So that's something that I like to do if I'm not in love with a guy, but he's there, and I know that, hey, 3 of my buddies have been hitting me up or talking about him nonstop, then that value goes up to them. So by taking that player off the board and then being able to trade them or whatnot, like, you can add value to your team. There's so many ways, especially in a dynasty league, where you can add value. I love trading WOB or FOB, however you put it in your league. I love trading that as well, or using that as an added piece to add value to the trade. If something's, very close, but they're just not, they're like, I don't know, I'm not 100% sold, then I love adding even WOB or FOB, especially before the season starts, because then that player knows, hey, if any player from now until, somebody else gets more money or whatever, more FOB, you have the number one, you have the most money. And so you are that person is able to go get whatever player were to become available. And so that's something that I like to argue or say when I'm trying to tip a trade. So, and oftentimes you can get away with less WOB because everyone else has, the same amount. So you don't have to go a significantly high value to add on there. You're just sacrificing, 10, 15%, and then you're able to get the deal done. So I got 24 seconds here. Zack Moss almost fell to me. I would have actually taken him in the 12th here if he would have, just because of the value. And I need running backs, to be honest with you. So I really am a big fan of Terrence Marshall, but I have a lot of wide receivers. There's still a lot of oh my goodness. All right. James Conner. I'll select him. I don't believe in him this year, but this is rough, boys and girls. This is rough. I was running out of time. K Sports Live. Welcome in, man. Thanks for joining us. Get the players you believe in. Absolutely. Love it. You will hear us repeat that so many times. I'm not a believer in James Conner, but I still got him. We'll see. I mean, again, my expectation for the Cardinals backfield is going to be 60-40 split, 70-30 split in favor of Chase Edmonds, but they're both, it's a 1-year contract for both. Yeah, I should not have taken that pick, but I ran out of time. We'll see. I like the value here. Michael Gallup, that went right after. I'm a big fan. I think, getting anyone from the Dallas Cowboys offense this year is going to be a beneficial move. All right, let's see. Wow, Devontae Parker's still available. I mean, I definitely would. I really wish this draft would went a couple. You know what? Okay, this is a perfect case in point of what I would do here in a draft. The values are not great there are some at the wide receiver position, and I could do it, but my team is pretty stacked at the wide receivers. I got 4 right now, pretty solid ones. Devontae Parker I would look at him, especially in the next couple rounds, and there would be a couple more rounds. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab Tony Pollard right now because he has, of the running backs still on the board, he has so much upside because of Ezekiel Elliott and things like that. But now, not only that, now I have a trade piece for who grabbed Ezekiel Elliott, Easy Daddy. So now I could go to Easy Daddy, and he also has Chase Edmonds. So now I can potentially go to him and try to work out a deal, where I can trade him, Tony Pollard and something for Chase Edmonds. Now I've got my definite lockup on my second RB for this year, and that will get me through this year. You can do moves like that. So always be thinking not only about your team roster and what your team needs are, but also think about like the potential moves if you're not completely satisfied with who is available on the board at that time. Or if you need to like fix moves earlier, you got to just be looking at the board, always evaluating what's available, what other players have, what you might need. And so there's always ways to make your team better, even if it's not going well. And then, okay, so right here, Travis Garden saying Rondale Moore is amazing, favorite rookie for talent. I am absolutely elated that the Cardinals got Rondale Moore. I think that I believe in his talent. I believe what you're saying, Travis. I'm just as big of a fan of his, and on that same bandwagon of saying, like, I think he will be one of the best rookie wide receivers that we do end up seeing, because the upside is just so tremendous. It might be hit or miss, right? It might be, a couple of games where he has big monster games and then he's quiet on a couple of games. But I do believe that they will put him in the slot and they will be able to. Oh, there are a couple more rounds. I thought. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So 14 and 15. I thought I added those, but I can't. This is wild. And so with them adding him and with the weapons they have on the outside in AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins, I think that he will create tremendous mismatches. His speed will be what they need, but that's what they wanted Andy Isabella to be. Like, that was what they were hoping when they drafted Andy Isabella, that they were going to get the receiver that Rondale Moore is. And of course, Rondale Moore still has to play. I get that. But I will say that watching his tape, watching what the Cardinals, I'm a big fan of the Cardinals, obviously. But watching what they were trying to do and what they wanted to do, getting a guy like Rondale Moore fits that puzzle piece. And yes, he has to go out and prove it, but I do believe that he will be able to. I don't believe his size. A lot of people, his size, he's an undersized guy and he's going to get smashed. And sure, like, he'll take some hits, but I think he'll also bulk up a little bit and he won't be so tiny. I think that he could be Tyreek Hill 2.0. Like, I really do believe it. I think he's in the right offense to really captivate and really achieve his ceiling and unlock that. So definitely agree with you there. K Sports here. I think Amon. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna like say the whole name because I just don't want to tongue tie myself here. But Amon Brown is highly underrated as a rookie wide receiver. Will have an immediate impact on the Lions and perfect wide receiver for Goff. I do think that this was a good pickup for them, especially because their wide receiver room is atrocious. They had like their number one and number two wide receivers leave in free agency. So yeah, I think, and Goff, he does remind me of like a Robert Woods type of players. And so I do think, and with them getting a better offensive line to protect Goff, I think that's definitely a wise move. I'm a big fan of Terrence Marshall, but I also, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, because I need what quarterbacks are Drew Lock, Teddy Bridge. There it's just. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, I got nine. All right, I'm gonna grab Terrence Marshall here. I love Terrence Marshall. I'm a little concerned with target wise of where he pans out as a rookie. I don't know if you'll see a lot of upside with Terrence Marshall this year, but I do like the system that he's going into, and I do like the type of receiver he is. He is that big-bodied X wide receiver that they need, and so I do think that he will have a very bright future in this league. Dallas Goedert comes off right after me. I like that move. I credit. Look at that. He grabbed Travis Kelce early in the draft and then takes Dallas Goedert in the 14th. That's a really good move there. Okay, hold on. Oh, Jameis Winston did end up going in there. I was checking to see. I was going to grab Jameis. I do like Pat, but he's a rookie. I'm going to go. Hold on. Is my boy. Oh, yes, dude. Give me T. Higgins. Or Tyler Higbee, I mean. T. Higgins. Give me Tyler Higbee here. With that double dip with Matthew Stafford. Oh, yeah, I'm a big fan of Tyler Higbee. Not bad. Dallas Goedert would have been choice, though. That was a good pickup. Especially because they could have gotten the double dip on that one. I'm a big fan of double dips as well. They aren't statistically we're going to do a dive into that actually on the show. That is one thing we plan on doing. Like, what is the actual competitive edge of getting a double dip? The theory is always great, and I love the theory, but we're going to deep dive into the analytics and see if that actually is the actual case on giving you an advantage. Now, I do think depending on the double dip that you have, I think it could significantly swing your team. Like if you had the double stack of Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill last year, or Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce last year, chances are you either won your league or you got to the finals. You maybe didn't win if you played against Alvin Kamara or Tom Brady and Mike Evans, or even that one, Tom Brady and Mike Evans, that stack won you guys a league or won people leagues. I know that for a fact. So, but I want to find out the exact analytics behind it, what the advantage is, because that could be an important role to play. I absolutely like taking guys later on, especially if it's a tight end double dip. That's choice for me. All right, we're about to close out this draft here. And I want to give a big kudos to everyone who joined the mock draft. Appreciate you guys so much for joining in. If you could do me a favor, if you're watching along, give me a thumbs up on this video. Really helps our channel more than you'll ever know. It's free for you, but it really helps YouTube algorithms say, hey, get these guys a couple more views here because people like their content. So we greatly appreciate if you could do that. I'm going to run down a couple of my favorite teams here. I've been looking as I've been drafting. So I won't grade every single team like we normally do. I'm going to pick out my top 3 favorite teams and just want to go over these questions real quick before we close out the show. K Sports Live says, what's your thoughts on Fitzmagic this season? Now he's the starter in Washington. I absolutely love it. We had a breakdown of how Terry McLaurin. We have a video on our channel of Terry McLaurin and how we think he's a tremendous value right now because of what Ryan Fitzmagic does to his wide receivers and to his weapons, and more specifically to the wide receiver position. So I think that that's great news for Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. I think Curtis Samuel could have a really nice season, more of a wide receiver kind of flex, a wide receiver 3 flex kind of wide receiver, but he'll have, around 1,000 yards to end the season and probably 4 to 5, maybe 6 touchdowns there. And then I just think that with the offense, with Ryan Fitzmagic behind it, we've seen him, like, he loves the game. He loves to win, even if he knows he's going to get pulled, but he'll go out there and give it his all. And so you got to like a quarterback like that, and guys in the locker room love guys like that. So like they play hard for him. So I absolutely love the move for Washington. I'm a huge fan of it. The Cats pajamas, that was good practice. I'm probably going to take tight end earlier, though. Johnny, thanks. That's good. Yeah, see, it's good to take these notes while you're doing it. The fantasy football therapist, yo, what's up, man? Had a client, but free now. Give it a thumbs up. Appreciate you. Fantasy football therapist. The dude's been popping into our mock drafts for the last, I don't know, a couple months now. So appreciate you stopping by, giving us a thumbs up. If you just streamed upon us, I'm going to run down my favorite teams right now real quick before we close out this show. I really do like what the Cats pajamas did with his draft here. I was a little skeptical with him taking the quarterbacks that he did early and with how he could pan it out. But I actually really like how he put this team together with Pat Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, and Tonga Vailoa. I do think Tua could have a very big year this year. I would not be surprised at all if he's a top 10 quarterback. And so I think with having Pat Mahomes and Tua together and then being able to flex in Trevor Lawrence until he is to the ability of an every week starter, I think that's great. I think you did a really awesome job there. And then your running back situation, you paired up the Denver Broncos running backs there. You have Aaron Jones and CEH, very, very solid running backs. Mostert a little bit later, even though we'll see what that situation bears, but really like your depth there. And then you're looking at your wide receivers, Michael Thomas, Deontay Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Rondale Moore, and then Kadarius Toney and Jalen Reagor. I really do think that you have a pretty solid wide receiver core there from top to bottom. And then I would say your only weakness is Cole Clement, but I'm actually a fan of Cole Clement. We'll see, how much of a jump he does this next year. But we do tend to know, if rookie quarterbacks come in, they tend to like the tight end position. So I do think that we could see some nice weeks from Cole Clement. I would probably pick up another tight end so you can stream them simultaneously. But very, very good job there with your draft. I really do like that one. Let's see. The other one that I really do like is, I do like Drew Kalu. I think he was new to our mock draft, and he put together a very nice draft pair, taking Jonathan Taylor in the first, Lamar Jackson in the second, Deandre Swift in the third. So has two, second-year running backs that I think could be RB1s. He has Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk as his 3 wide receivers. Took Trey Sermon as his another running back depth piece. Jordan Love, we'll see. That could be, but having Baker Mayfield as his second quarterback, I think that's solid. And then TJ Hawkinson, talked about how he's one of my favorite tight end positions prospects this year. And then closed it out with getting Bateman, Juju, Devontae Parker, Todd Gurley. We'll see if he ends up landing on a spot, but and then Tyler Boyd. So very good mock draft for you, Drew. I really like what you did there. And then the third team I got to give shout out would be Credit. He would be my third team here, getting CMC, Herbert, and Russell Wilson. Having those 2 stacks, like, that's unbelievable. DeAndre Hopkins as his wide receiver 1, slipping to the 4th. I still think he has plenty of years left. Travis Kelce, number 1 tight end still. Could that change? Yeah, but I still think he'd be a top 3 no matter what. Getting Josh Jacobs, Gaskins to fill that number 2 role. I mean, Myles Gaskins, one of the biggest beneficiaries of the draft this year, like biggest stock up after the draft. So Courtland Sutton, Odell Beckham, Will Fuller to pair. I absolutely love all those wide receivers. Tremendous upside. A.J. Dillon, Michael Gallup, Jared Goff late as your 3rd quarterback. Goddard, talked about how I really like that pick, and as a backup, Jarvis Landry. I think you have probably my favorite team of all from top to bottom, just the depth and everything. So good job, credit, and appreciate everyone else. I mean, we had some really good other drafts in here. Let us know in the comments, Whisper Nation, which draft you really liked. And if you want to mock draft with us, we mock draft every single Monday, especially during May, because it's mock draft mania. And so we drop every single Monday. We go live at 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Pacific. And we drop the links to the mock draft about 40 minutes before that on our Twitter. So make sure you're following us at TF Whispers if you want to get in on the mock drafts. All right, Whisper Nation, that is it for today's show. I am Johnny Game Time Hicks. Appreciate you guys so much for joining. Till next time, join us Wednesday for our live show. Appreciate you, Whisper Nation. I'm out. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at